Hi there, my name is Felix Beckett, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. But how is the apocalypse treating you today? How's it treating the comic book industry? Not good at all. In fact, I think not good at all isn't quite strong enough. A descriptive about how this ongoing pandemic is treating the comic book industry. This is an extinction level event. Make no mistake, this is an extinction level event, and I will explain exactly why. And I'm gonna have to record this in real time because whoa, this is a fascinating ride to watch. But before we get there, if you like your independent voices here on YouTube that are not beholden to multinational corporations, which may or may not be around 2-3 weeks from now, who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, if you like your independent voices, hit that subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. It's incredibly helpful for me, and I am genuinely very grateful. Go and check out the video notes. There's a Doctor Who audio story you can download to help while away the hours. And we give stuff away each week on this channel. The thing we're giving away this week is Breaking Bad, the complete Breaking Bad Season 2 on Blu-ray. I think probably doing the giveaway on Tuesday. I think on Tuesday it's March 22nd now, so it'll be 24th. I'm gonna start doing Breaking Bad streams with a bunch of people. So that's probably when we're gonna give away. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. Subscribing being the very important part from my perspective. And then leave the hashtag I am the one who knocks. I am the one who knocks. Go and look at the video notes. It will tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so this is the comic book industry in a nutshell. Okay, so the way it works is this. Most comics are sold through comic book stores to comic book fans. That's called the direct market. And the way comic book stores, way it works is this: a comic book store orders comics, and then they sell them, and any they don't sell, they then lose. They lose the money. They have to pay whatever it is they pay. They take the risk, and if they can't sell them, they can't sell them. So let's say you have a comic book that's was it the new what's that awful one they just announced the other day? New Warriors. Is it New Warriors? It's like the so embarrassingly bad one with like Safe Space and Snowflake. Yeah, so let's say the media, the shill media goes, this is the greatest thing ever! Yay! This is gonna be, and so your comic book store orders like 100 copies, right? And they have to pay, say, $2 a copy, and they sell them for $4. So $2 a copy, then so Diamond, the distributor, takes a cut, and Marvel takes a cut. So okay, so the 100 books, they pay $2 each. So they pay $200. So let's say they manage to sell 10, and that's pretty darn pretty darn luxurious. I think they'll probably sell 2. If they're lucky, they would sell 2. But let's say they sell 10, makes the math easier. That means they sell them at $4 a piece. They make $40. So they spent $200 and they made $40. So it's the net loss of $160. That's how the comic book industry works. Now, way normal periodicals work is any you have left over, you tear the cover off, and then you send it back to the supplier, and the supplier makes them returnable. They eat the cost of them. But that is not the way the comic book industry works. So yeah, I was listening to a video about this by your boy Zach. Fantastic freaking channel. If you're not following, I really like it. And so he made the point, which I really agree with, that if the books were returnable, the implosion we've seen in the comic book industry over the last 5 years, 3 to 5 years, would not be possible. Would not happen because the implosion has been essentially they make lots of comic books. They hire people based on their skin color and their sexual orientation, their gender and type, whatever the stupid thing. And these people aren't very good at writing comics. That's really the bottom line. They're just not very good at writing comics, and they're like elevated massively. And they're given like their careers are just really accelerated way beyond their abilities, and they write garbage. So the second thing about them writing garbage is they also fill it full with their politics, and they wake up these people from morning to night. They go Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Oh, Brexit, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I'm telling you, they're freaking crazy. Look, listen. I was actually on the fence about Obama for most of his first term. By the end of his first term, I thought, yeah, he's probably bad news. But I didn't want to like have a knee jerk reaction. So all the second time, I thought Obama's a bad news, and I just saw him do lots of things that were very objectively bad. But I didn't wake up and I want to go, it's not the person I want for president. No, because I understand we have elections, and this is what the country wanted. This is what the country wanted. That's bigger. Yeah, a national election is bigger than my personal policy, and saying that these idiots who write the comics don't understand. One of the most dangerous things that's happened in the last 5 years is we moralized our political differences. We used to be able to say, like, I disagree with you on this policy, but we're both coming from the attitude that like we want the best for the most amount of people. Take open borders for example. There are people who like open borders say it's cruel not to have open borders, and I don't want to feel cruel. So and then you have other people saying, yeah, but it's also cruel for to flood the economy with low end workers, low pay workers. That's going to squeeze out the lowest the lowest economic sector in your community, and they're not going to get jobs, and ultimately you're going to get more homelessness and more poverty because of it. So that's cruel. But both sides were coming from the premise that we want to be good. Now the idiots that like are like obsessed with the president or whatever, they say anybody who doesn't agree with us isn't because they think there's another way for people to be for things to be run and things to be to work out well. No, the reason they disagree with you is because they're evil. They're evil and they hate people because their skin color. And honestly, it's so freaking stupid. It's just beyond my head. I've never met anyone. Actually, no, that's not true. I think in the mid '80s, I did actually. I was at a cafe in the mid '80s, and I met like a full-on racist. But I never met anybody who didn't like somebody because of their skin color. It's not in my experience. I doubt it's in any of your experiences either. So it's just bizarre. So anyway, so what's going on now is we have this pandemic, and all the comic book stores are shut. So they made their orders. You make their orders a few weeks, a month earlier, a few weeks earlier, and now they're getting all the stock they have to pay for, which they have zero ability to sell. They have zero ability to sell. Now, some actually are doing their best and trying to put together a delivery service, but these are tiny measures. The best case scenario is the people will be back on their feet financially within 3 months. That's the best case scenario, because people are out of work for 3 weeks. So their disposable income is gone away. People are eating through the savings as we speak right now. And so they're it's just it's going to take people that long time, about that amount of time to get back on their feet again. In the best case scenario, so comic book sales are going to implode. But what's made this worse is the past 3 to 5 years of these idiot creators who are obsessed with the presidency, that have put out comic book after comic book after comic book after comic book that nobody wants to buy, that nobody wants to sell. Now, if they made these returnable, these people who they elevated way beyond their ability and their experience, they wouldn't be getting jobs, like people like was it Mags Versaggio? Mags Versaggio, I haven't heard of she does like 5 books. She was doing like 5-6 books a month. She was doing like an incredible amount of work. But if then Marvel kept producing all these books, again, New Warriors, books that nobody freaking wants to read, and then they had to return them and eat the cost for them, rather than putting the risk on the comic book stores, which they have been doing for decades. If they had to take the risk and they had to eat the loss, they wouldn't be eating loss because it's not financially viable. So this ongoing antagonism between the comic book companies and the audience. The audience has left in droves. It reached a kind of interesting peak last week when they announced this stupid book called New Warriors, which they must have greenlit about 25 grand, I would think, just to go a couple of YouTubers, to basically your boy Zach and Ethan Van Sciver, who went away. They said, well, if you don't like it, go and make your own comics. So they went away and made their own comics, and they're far more successful than the people who said, well, if you don't like it, go away and make your own. And they were attacked by comic book professionals. Those comic book professionals they all know it. They're all basically out of work right now. They're all out of work. They're all going to be crawling onto YouTube to make channels. Was it Kelly Sue McCormick and they're all going to be crawling onto YouTube to make their own channels to sell their comics, and they're not going to be able to do it because nobody wants their freaking comics. The people who were giving them worthy applause for their comics aren't giving them their money. So we're in that. This is an extinction level event for the comic book industry because the comic book stores have been the ones who would take the financial hit for this. What's the word I want to say? For this business. What's it? Not incompetence. It's worse than this financial vandalism. This vandalism to their industry. Because they're not the ones. They're the ones who have to take the hit for it. Most of them live between paycheck to paycheck. They need to make their sales that month because they're razor thin profit margins right now. They have to make their sales, and if they don't make their sales that month, they don't make it the next month. That's your average shop. Your very successful shop can probably go 2 or 3 months. Again, the best case scenario, we are 3 months away from being normal. That's the best, and it's not going to be the best case scenario. We're probably 3 months away from being able to go back to work again. Everyone's looking at having their entire savings eaten away, and then more. This is bad news. So the first thing that the comic book industry is a luxury, and it's going to go down. Comic books will still sell. Comic books will still sell, but I think you've got to sell them the way that the comic skaters do it. You make a channel, you build up a rapport with the audience, and then you try, and then hopefully you present the comic, and you have enough people who buy it, they'll make it viable. That's why this channel is here, by the way, so I can sell you my comics when my audience grows big enough. So anyway, in the wake of this extinction apocalypse, which we're in, some companies have said, Image, for example, stood up and said, we're going to make all our books returnable through this crisis because that's the only way to keep the comic book stores solvent. That's the only way. So, and IDW, I think, said the same thing. Marvel and DC, not so much. Marvel and DC own the vast market share. I think about 80% of the market, probably more. And they're all going to keep, and their responses are not good. DC haven't said a freaking word. Now, DC has had a different approach to Marvel. DC had, because of the falling sales, because of their terrible comics they keep producing, and then the creators like just being outwardly disgusting to the audience. So the audience says, I don't like being called an artsy. What's it? I think it was Kelly Sue, McCormick, who said, if you don't like my comics, don't buy my comics. Well, they didn't like your comics, and they didn't buy your comics, and your comics don't freaking sell, and now you're not even going to have a place to sell them, and they're all scrambling now. They're all going, how can I help my comic book store? No, there's no help. The way you could help them was by having a good rapport with your audience for the last several years, so you have a strong fan base, rather than telling them you hate them repeatedly because they happen to not all agree with you about your stupid politics. So we had DC. DC's approach has been to cut down their lines and to reduce. They shuttered a lot. They shuttered Mad Magazine. They closed Mad Magazine. They closed Vertigo Comics. DC are probably keeping quiet because DC are over. I think the reason we have no response to them, DC are over as a company. They are no longer financially viable. This is knocking them out. So I think the most likely thing is eventually, within about a year or so, they're going to license out their characters, Batman, Superman, whoever, to anybody who wants to make comics. If they will. But I think it's going to be a fire sale as well. I don't think these are going to be overly expensive. I hope Ethan Van Sciver can buy what's his book he did, Green Lantern. I really hope so. Anyway, so then Marvel's approach has been to say, we're going to offer greater discounts to the comic book stores, which is a terrible, terrible approach. Because what's the point? Okay, let's say I'm gonna, you only have to pay the comics that we bought. Let's say you buy 100 copies of New Warriors. We're only going to have to pay $1.50 instead of $2. So now you paid $150 instead of $2, right? You sell your 10, and then you're down. So instead of being down, was it 160? You're down 110. You're still down. You're still down. You're still making a loss, and you're still gonna go out of business. So Peter Cebulski just spanked CB Cebulski very publicly about it. Now, Peter Cebulski is the publisher at Alternative Comics, probably one of the best comic publishers around. They've been doing innovative things. I love that they print their comic books on newsprint as opposed to this glossy paper. They're a really smart company. They're one of the companies that say they're going to make all their comics returnable. So let's look at this little back and forth between CB Cebulski and Peter Cebulski. Okay, so here we are. Let's look at fine. So it starts over here, I think. Peter Cebulski. Okay, so it starts over. CB Cebulski tweeted, "Everyone here at Marvel has been working closely all week with our talent, retailers, distributors, and even fans around the world to make sure all their differing needs, concerns are heard and addressed in these uncertain times." Bull crap. Bull crap. You have not giving a bigger discount to the retailers is not meeting their concerns, as we're about to learn. And then he links to a Bleeding Cool article, basically laying out their bull crap. So let me have this. In replying to so Peter Cebulski of Alternative asked very personally, a very simple question: which stores ask for deeper discounts instead of returnability options? That seems like a reasonable question, right? That seems like a reasonable question. So yeah, so CB Cebulski, as people do when they are cornered and they're wrong and they know they're wrong, he comes up with a terrible answer, which we're now all going to laugh at together. Okay, Peter. Okay, the reason you say Peter is to belittle the person talking to. Peter. Now I'm the teacher. You're the lowly student. Peter. You're a smart guy. You're a clever little cookie. You clever little boy. You are a clever boy who understands this business. I'm just covering. Who understands this business. So you know this. This is a difficult time for everyone and everyone who works in the industry. We all are. He puts in capitals, especially retailers and talent. Okay, fine, but what are you doing? You know what? I don't need to say anything. This all speaks for itself. And we're all taking all situations into account when making any moves. Not all will be public. So to which Smitty responds, it says, "Yep, that's why we offered full returnability plus trade-in options back in February 2019 to limit the risk to retailers, and that's on top of having the most affordable prices in the industry. That's what we're doing. If these are your public moves, I shudder to think what your private ones are." Because Cebulski will say, we got to talk to people in private. So let's just, for the hell of it, look at some of these replies that Cebulski's the Cebulski position. So the umbrella guy. Oh, don't you love Tug? Tug's freaking brilliant. Subscribe to this channel. I don't need to tell you to subscribe, but he's freaking brilliant. To clarify, you are saying returnability is being offered? Of course he's not. So somebody else says there'll be forced to offer returns and extended payment terms at least 30 days beyond current payment terms. It's beyond their control. Retailers will demand it. Will they demand it, or will they be too stupid? I don't know. So this is a great response by Nerd Seeker. Can you start, because he said he has the concerns of everybody involved, can you start by, once this is all over, to get rid of the politics in the comics and make a product worth buying again? I haven't bought a Marvel comic since 2016. Just because it ships doesn't mean it sells. Absolutely right. And their sales figures are their sales to the retailers, not to the customers, which are a very different number. I wish they collected that data. Doesn't mean I saw piles of Secret Empire at my local comic book store for 6 months. And so Stevie Cebulski's idiot reply is, man, you missed a lot of good comics, bud. Sorry to hear it. Really, this is not a time to be condescending and patronizing when your industry is blowing up because of your stupidity. It's all happening because of your stupidity. So let's go back, and then you see these retailers pile in on Cebulski. It's incredible. Nick Papora, who let's see, where's he have a shop? He owns a comic book store. He said shameful, and it is shameful. Marvel and DC, Cebulski, they should be shame marched through town. If only they were allowed to leave the house. And so then Cebulski replied, "Well, we go back a long time, Nick, and you're always free to drop me a direct line if you want to chat." And again, this is this is what kicked Samedi off to again, just to smack it. Like, you just look at all these comic stores that are they're freaking out. I would recommend just going to Twitter. So this other guy, or James Smeem, he has a comic book store. Hey, that's great news for online online mail orders retailers, CB. Now that crisis is averted, what's Marvel going to announce for when is Marvel going to announce what they plan to do for brick and mortar shops? Very good point. And again, this goes on and on and on and on, because, to be clear, this is an Extinction level event, and it's been brought about by, again, cultural vandalism to our culture. I mean, I guess cultural vandalism would be vandalism to culture. That makes it a little bit, what's the word? Not eccentric, a little bit, I can't remember. See, when you make videos, you just forget words all the freaking time. You do. I recommend everybody try it. My name is Sheila Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. What do you think about all this? What do you think's gonna, what's the next move in this implosion of the comic book industry? I am going to be amazed. What are we doing? March now? April, May. I mean, I'll be amazed in March if Marvel and DC are even thinking about publishing. I'll be amazed if that idiot New Warriors book actually comes out. And yeah, to add insult to injury, when this was going down, which the New Warriors story was a freaking massive story. I'm not a comics channel, and I covered it, right? I haven't read American comics, mainstream American comics for years. Because much for the same reason. It's a freaking massive story, and they just completely ignored it. I think, somebody says, "Oh yeah, did you check with your retailers about the New Warriors?" And they're like, "Whoa, we're gonna wait for everybody to see it." No one's gonna see it. It's done. This bullcrap that you've had going on for years and years and years and years is only viable in the bull economy that you're made by the president, who you are obsessed with. You're obsessed with, and you're obsessed with hating all the time. That's the only reason you've been able to do this, and that is over. It's over. Maybe you should start saying sorry. Maybe you should start saying sorry for the devastation, your idiocy is called. That New Warriors book, 25 grand you pumped into, it's going to your boy Zach and even Skyver and anybody else who you don't have to like. Really? I bet you could have used that 25 grand. I bet you could have really used that 25k. But no, you had to go and make your point. Well, you made your point. Now, get back in the soup line, because that's where you freaking are. My name is Sheila Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. What am I saying? Could you like, share, and subscribe? And ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Have yourself a fantastic and very, very healthy day. Bye.